Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you want to see how I go from this to this, then let's go ahead and get into it. I had a request on one of my previous videos to do an eyeshadow look with the little mini Pat McGrath. This is the Midnight Voyage palette, so we're going to do that. But before we get into eyes, I'm going to do the base because I just feel better when my base is done first, and gives me a little more time to think about what I'm going to do for the eyes, to be honest. For complexion, I'm going to start out with the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Foundation. I am in shade 2. I'm going to take 2 pumps onto a little palette, and because I enjoy a more dewy finish than this provides on its own, I'm going to be mixing in the Say Beauty Glowy Super Gel, the shade Star Glow. And this is mostly water with a little shimmer, so I'm also doing 2 pumps of that. We got a little 50-50 ratio going on, and I'm just going to mix that up and apply it onto the skin as you do. And I'm blending it out with an e.l.f. Total Face Sponge. We are mixing budget and bougie over here, because if it's good, it's good, you know? And it's good. It's also going to sheer out the foundation a little bit, which I don't mind. The feeling the eye look is going to be pretty bold and smoky, but that's one of my favorite things to do, is do a bold eye look and like super fresh skin. Alright, here's one side with the foundation and glowy gel. Here's one side just all on its own. And hopefully you can see it really knocked back some redness for me. So I'm just going to go ahead, do the other side. For concealer, I am taking the Rose Ink Concealer in the shade LX010. And that's going in the usual places, inner and outer corners, around my nose and chin, where I want a little more coverage. This is a very creamy, high coverage concealer, so I like to start a little apprehensive, and I can always add more. Pretty big difference. For bronzer and contour today, I am taking my very well loved Statusque Cream and Powder Bronzer Duo from Patrick Ta, and I'm going to go in with the cream, just taking that on a dense brush. This is the Rare Beauty foundation brush, and this is a really cool toned shade, so it works really well for my cool toned pale skin. And I am patting it in. Because I have a rounder face shape, I put contour here, here, and here, almost in the traditional 3 shape, but I want to leave the center of my face as bright as possible to make it look longer, therefore in turn looking less round. Then I'm going to go straight into the powder side of the duo, and it's a little bit warmer. So it's definitely more bronzer, whereas the cream is more of a contour. I'm taking this on a BK Beauty 104 brush. Just going to go over that contour. Again, patting motions because we're setting a cream. And I bring this warmer tone further in than the contour shade. So we're almost creating like an ombre or a gradient, and I put the contour on the sides of my nose, but the bronzer, I'm just going to bounce on the top of the nose. Bronzer goes down the neck, whereas the contour went specifically right here on the jawline. Definitely one of my favorite products. It's on the bougie side, but I really like it. I need to set these under eyes, so I'm taking the Rare Beauty setting powder. I use the shade Light, placing some of that into the lid, and I'm taking a Profusion flat setting powder brush. Got mine from Walmart. It was $5. It's amazing. I'm going to take my ring finger, pat out any concealer that has creased. There's not too much. I'm going to set under the eyes and around the nose. This is a beautiful powder that sits really well, even though I have a drier skin type. Pretty finely milled, doesn't feel heavy on the skin. Next is highlight. I'm taking the Half Magic Light Trap highlighter in the shade Enter the Glow, and the packaging is really cool. It's like a trifold little deal. And I'm taking this on a Pure Cosmetics blush brush, but it's so tiny. I like to use it for highlighter. And I am going to use circular motions to buff the highlighter into the skin, on the tops of my cheekbones, underneath my brow bone. I am very excited about blush. I'm taking the RMS Beauty Hanky Panky Redimension Hydra Powder Blush. These are absolutely beautiful looking in the pan. I almost hate to ruin it, but only just almost. So here's the kind of color story we're working with today. Warm browns, warm purples. What's not to love? Take a pure powder blush. And this is my first time using the blush, so we shall see. And you know, as a pale person, this can look intimidating, but just go in with a light hand. So I'm going to build it up. I'll put this on the apples of my cheek. And there is some luminosity to this in and of itself. Yep. I'm not one to usually enjoy a powder blush, but I am enjoying this blush. There's a reason they've been selling out. They're beautiful. And me being me, I'll probably add more at the end of the look, let's be honest. Okay, moving on to the mini eyeshadow palette. I just wanted to show you, here is one of Pat McGrath's blushes, and here is the eyeshadow palette. So it is even smaller than the blush, but it's perfect for travel. And it's just a great way to try out Pat McGrath shadows if you haven't before. So I'm going to start out with this shade, and it is number 2, Entrapment. Taking that on a fluffy brush. Going to be light-handed because Pat McGrath shadows are usually very pigmented. And that shade, the second shade on the top, is pretty deep, but it is going to have to be my transition shade. So I put a tiny bit down. I'm doing the windshield wiper motions and then circular motions to blend it up to my brow. Super simple. Just remember, wherever you place your brush first, that's where the most pigment is going to be. So, super light wash of Entrapment. Here are swatches of all the shades in the palette. So we are working with warm browns and warm purples. And this pale gold you can barely see on my skin tone. Okay, next I'm going with the deepest shade in the palette, and it is called Extreme Aubergine. Taking that on a BK Beauty 203 brush, which is flat but fluffy on the outer corner. and the inner corner. Haven't done a halo in a while, or at least that's what my brain thinks. Bringing that aubergine color all the way up to my crease. When I do get up to the crease, I use the brush to lay down the color flat, and then when I get to the crease, I turn the brush, and that's how I blend it with the tips of the bristles. And a halo eye is going to look, well, a halo eye done by me is going to look a mess until the very end. So just keep your brushes on hand, because there's a lot of going back and forth. I'm going to try to use as many shades as I can. So I'm going to take Sunset Bronze right here on a KJH and Spectrum Collection number 17 brush. And this is a Chonky Glitter shade. So once again, just trying to be careful. Placing that right beside the Aubergine shade on both the inner and outer portion. And it's okay if some of it gets covered up. With my finger, I'm taking the middle shade on the bottom row, and it's called Eleganza. It's my personal favorite shade. So taking that on my ring finger. That's going in the very center. And I am bringing this all the way up to the brow bone. And I'll take my clean middle finger and kind of preemptively blend. Of course, we'll go in with a brush and do a better blending job later. I'm just going to go back and enhance the aubergine, the bronze, the sunset bronze color, and do some blending. I like to do is take some of my face powder onto my blending brush, really work the powder into the brush, and that is another great way to help your blend and your eyeshadow look. Okay, I'm going to take the very first shade, which is Skin Show Divine Glow, the gold. Take that on my little pinky finger. Place that right here, kind of mixing it in with Eleganza, just so there's a pop of brightness on the very center of the eye look. The only shade I haven't used yet is this bright purple, so I'm going to take that on a little pointed brush. Let's see what that looks like on the inner corner. I really like that shade. I'm going to add some to the outer corners over here, over the aubergine shade. And it wouldn't look the same without the aubergine shade underneath it, because you might think, well, why didn't you just do that in the first place? The aubergine shade adds depth, brings out tones in this shade that wouldn't appear without the depth. What I'm also going to do is take the highlighter that I used from Half Magic and go over the inner tear duct right here. As well as place some of the same highlighter underneath the brow bone. So here is the eyeshadow. I did get a little fallout, but one of my favorite ways to get rid of fallout is to take a duo fiber brush and just flick it away. On the waterline and tightline, I'm taking the Shadow Stylist Crayon in the shade Orchid from Bodyography. And to get the tightline, which is this skin right here by your upper lashes, I just close my eyes and press the pencil up. Makes your lash line look thicker. I've been doing it for a long time and I'm still not used to it, so if it feels uncomfortable, you're doing it right. I'm going to speed through my brows and lashes, and I'm using the Kush Fiber Brow Gel in the shade Dutch, the Make Beauty Blade Line Brow Pencil in the shade Auburn, and the Covergirl Exhibitionist Mascara in Waterproof. As expected, now that the eyes are done, I need some more bronzer. More blush. I'm also going to take a fluffy brush, dip it into the blush, and very gently border eye look with the blush color. So I want everything to tie in. I'm definitely going to do like a circle of blush right here, right by the eye look, the outer corner of the eye, so it's all connected. Okay, going in with one of my all-time favorite lip liners. This is the Makeup by Mario Ultra Suede lip liner in the shade Hugh. I like it so much because it's like my lip color but a little more cool toned. Then I'm going to take the Victoria Beckham lipstick in the shade Jump. I love these Posh lipsticks from Victoria Beckham. This is definitely a cool mauve shade. And the lipstick on its own is plenty enough, but I'm also going to add the Make Beauty Serum Balm Intense in the shade Magnetic Mauve. Juicy, hydrating. Alright, now gotta do something about this hair. Alright, and that is the look done. Didn't feel like doing my hair, so I just slicked it back into a bun. But this is my first little play with the Pat McGrath mini palette. Let me know if you would like to see more looks with the mini palette, or if there's any other particular products or looks you would like for me to try or attempt. As always, thank you so much for watching. Drawer check. Look, all my drawers are closed. If you enjoyed watching, please do the YouTube things, like and subscribe. And check out my Instagram. It's also HollyBethMakeup. As always, be blessed and be kind, my friends. I appreciate you all so much, and I'll be back soon. Bye.